A very good morning. I am back. Today we shall continue with the second class of Indus Valley Civilization. In the previous class we have started with Indus Valley Civilization. So in today's class we shall continue with Indus Valley Civilization for grade 6 students, right? So before I could start today's class or proceed with today's class, I would like to request all the students, as I always do, after watching my video, please do give a quick reading. Please go through the lesson and give it a quick reading in your textbook. Is that clear? So shall we begin? So today we are going to start with Indus Valley. We are going to continue with Indus Valley Civilization. So what did we study in a previous class? In a previous class we studied that Indus Valley Civilization was one of the ancient civilization of India. It was believed that history began with the advent or the coming of the Aryans. But this theory was proved wrong because a civilization that existed much before the coming of the Aryans, that was nothing else but the Indus Valley Civilization. This came to our knowledge through excavations done by two archaeologists, that is Dayaram Shahani and Rakaldas Banerjee in the year 1921 and 1922 respectively. So we studied that Indus Valley Civilization is a urban civilization, right? And it dated back to 2500 BC to 1500 BC, or it existed during the Chalcolithic age, right? And we also studied that there were more than 256 sites that were discovered and almost around 2000 seals were discovered during excavations, right? The two sources of information about the Indus Valley Civilization was what? One was through excavations and the other one was through inscriptions. So in today's class, we shall continue or go ahead and we shall proceed with the lesson Indus Valley Civilization. So what are we going to study in today's class? What would be the concept? In today's class, we would be studying about the main features of the Indus Valley Civilization. So what are the main features? What are the main features? Like we would be studying about drainage, town planning, and so on, etc. Some of the important structures of Indus Valley Civilization like the Great Bath, the Great Granary. So today's concept or topic of discussion would be, right, the main features of the Indus Valley Civilization like town planning. Town planning refers to the town was divided into two parts. One, the upper town or the citadel, or the lower town or where the common people dwelt. The citadel was built on a raised platform with high walls that protected it from floods, whereas the common man dwelled in the lower town area. So the town was divided into two parts, the upper town, the citadel area, and the lower town. Other than this, we would be studying about the drainage system, about the sanitation and hygiene. It also threw a slide that the people were very much concerned about hygiene and sanitation. Other than this, we would be studying about the main features like the assembly hall, the great granary, the great bath, and so on. So we shall start with today's class. Shall we? Shall we proceed? So moving on to characteristics or main features of the Indus Valley Civilization. The Indus Valley Civilization flourished between, what is the period? 2500 BC and 1500 BC. Excavations at different sites show that the Indus Valley people led a highly advanced city life. So, what civilization was it? It was an urban civilization. They led a highly advanced city life. Point to be noted. Some of the features which left the world wonderstruck are systematically planned cities, well-developed roads with lampposts, remarkable planning of houses, and excellent drainage system. See, most of the features we lack even today, but all these features were found or available in the Indus Valley civilization during that period. That period refers to 2500 BC to 1500 BC. So it left the world wonderstruck. What? They had an excellent drainage system. They had proper town planning. They had well constructed roads along with lampposts and wells, right? And remarkable planning of houses. See, this is an image. I hope you all can see here. See, this is an image of how the Indus Valley cities looked, or the town planning, or how the city of the Indus Valley civilization looked. So this is a picture of the town planning. So now, town planning. The cities of Harappa and Mohenjo-daro were divided into two parts. I already told you before the beginning of the class. Two parts. What is that? Citadel and lower town were the two divisions. So what are the two divisions? The upper part was called the citadel. It was built on a high or a raised platform, and it had big walls or huge walls to protect the city from floods. And the other one was the lower town area where the common people dwelt. So the town was divided into two, citadel and the lower town. Cities of Harappa and the other one is what? Mohenjo-daro were divided into two parts. Citadel and lower town were the two divisions. So citadel is also called as Acropolis. Citadel was the upper part of the Harappan cities. It was built on a raised platform, enclosed by high walls. These high walls provided protection to the city from the enemies as well as from floods, right? Probably the ruling class lived here. So who lived in the citadel area? The ruling class lived in the citadel area, and the common folk or the common man lived in the lower town area, right? It had high walls. Why? To protect it from enemies and floods. Here many public buildings like the public bath, or we also called it as the great bath, granaries and assembly halls were built in the citadel area. So now moving on to the lower town. So let us see what is the lower town, what are the main features of the lower town. The lower part, which was much bigger, contained the houses and workplaces of the common people. Residential buildings of the common people were found in the lower town area. So what was there in the lower town? Residential buildings of whom? Of the common people were found in the lower town area. Each house was built with a courtyard, several rooms, a toilet and a well. So each house had a courtyard, a common opening, right? Several rooms, a toilet and a well. Fine quality baked bricks. Baked bricks are the burnt bricks. Okay, they are very strong and hard. Baked bricks were used in making these houses. Large blocks of 1 or 2-story houses were built along the sides of the streets. Along the side of the either single-storied building or a 2-storied house was built along on the either side of the roads. These houses had what? Flat roofs. Walls were thick and strong. They were plastered with what? With cement? No, they were plastered with mud. The houses had flat roofs. The houses were on either side of the roads. Either a single-storied or a double-storied house. The houses had thick walls and the walls were plastered with mud. These houses had a central courtyard, a common opening in the middle of the house. It's a rectangular or a square shaped opening in the middle of the house. It was surrounded by rooms on all sides is called a courtyard. So where was the courtyard? Central. It was located centrally to the houses, central courtyard. These houses had a central courtyard and rooms were constructed surrounding the courtyard. Doors and windows of the houses opened towards the lanes. Remember, doors and windows opened outward, not inward. They opened outward towards the lanes. So now let us proceed. The roads in the Indus Valley civilization. Let us start with the roads. The roads in the Indus Valley civilization were well developed. So how were they? They were Indus Valley cities followed the grid pattern. What is a grid pattern? Intersection at right angles, vertical lines and horizontal lines. Vertical and horizontal lines, when they intersect, it is called as a grid pattern, somewhat in small rectangular blocks, right? What is a grid pattern? When the roads intersect each other at right angles. The main road with the lane, गली को बोलते हैं lane, and the main road. When the road and the lanes, they intersected each other at right angles and they formed a grid pattern, that is in a rectangular shape. See, many Harappan cities were divided into a series of rectangular blocks. The Indus Valley cities followed the grid pattern. So, what is grid pattern? Point to be noted here. Into a series of rectangular blocks means the main roads intersected with the lanes at right angles and they formed a small rectangular form of shape like a grid. Check, check. Okay, the small checks or the small rectangular blocks were called as grid pattern. So, this is what Indus Valley cities followed the grid pattern in formation of their roads and streets. Many Harappan cities were divided into a series of rectangular blocks forming a grid pattern. Wide and straight roads cut each other at right angles. I told you wide road is a lane and a straight road is the main road, and it's a main road and the wide are the lanes. So they intersected at what? Both the roads intersected each other at right angles. They formed right angles. Wide and straight roads cut each other at right angles. The smaller streets joined the main road at right angles. Both streets, see, point to be noted, a small lane is referred to as street and the bigger lane is referred to as road. Both streets and roads were lit up by lamp posts. Every street had a well to provide water to the travelers and the public. The streets had the rounded corners. So how were the turnings or the edges of the streets? They were rounded or rather curved. So how were the streets? The turning of the streets were rather rounded or curved so that the carts could move through the streets easily, right? So the streets had the rounded corners so that carts could pass easily. Dustbins were provided to rectangular intervals to keep the roads clean. They also had wells to provide drinking water to travelers, and dustbins were also provided at regular rectangular intervals. Why rectangular? Because the roads followed a grid pattern. Grid means they intersected each other, the lane and the roads intersected each other at right angles and they formed a small rectangular shaped block-like structures. Therefore, they followed a grid pattern, and dustbins were provided at regular intervals at the rectangular, at the intervals to keep the roads clean, rectangular intervals to keep the roads clean. Not only that, they had wells to provide water to the travelers. Houses were constructed on both sides of the streets and lanes. The entrance to the houses was never from the main road. See, no doubt, just before this I told you that the doors and windows opened outward towards the lane, but the main entrance of the house was never faced towards the main road. This is another point to be noted. Now let us start with the great granary. So what are the important features of the Indus Valley civilization? The first one is the great granary. What is a granary? It is somewhat like a warehouse or a godown. What is a warehouse? A godown. A great granary refers to granary. You can correlate it with the word grain. So it is a storage house or a storehouse where the grains were stored. Where the food grains refers to the food grains like rice, wheat and barley. They were cultivated, right? So the surplus grains were stored in a warehouse, or they were stored in a godown rather. Okay, we call it a godown or a warehouse. So all the abundant grains were stored. Why? For the future, to meet the emergencies. What could be the emergency? For suppose, because this civilization dwelt on the banks of the river Indus, in case river Indus always had annual floods. flooding, it had annual floods which brought rich alluvial soil deposits and all alluvial soil or deposits. So, in case, and see, this great granary was built in the citadel area, not the lower town. These main features like the great bath, the great granary and the assembly hall, these are all the important features that were found in the citadel area where the ruling class dwelled or where the ruling class people lived, right? So, this was built where? On a raised platform with high walls in the citadel area. So, this great granary is found in the citadel area. Why? On a raised platform with high walls, and because to protect it from floods, because river Indus had annual floods and all. So, the abundant or the surplus grains were stored in a godown or a warehouse. Okay, they were stored for the future to meet the emergencies or the contingencies, like it could be flood, it could be even drought. Why only floods? At times when there are no rains, there is no proper crop. So, to meet drought, to meet floods or to meet scarcity, when there is drought, you don't have abundant supply of food grains, it could lead to scarcity and all. So, to meet the extreme of conditions, the contingencies or the calamities, these food grains were stored in a house or a warehouse or a godown called as the great granary. Granary refers to a place where the surplus food grains are stored. Is that clear? Shall we proceed? The great granary was the largest building at Harappa in which area? Point to be noted. In the citadel area. It was used for storing excess grains for trading during times of emergency. What are emergencies? Like scarcity, when there are no rains, no proper cultivation of crops and also drought and all, it can lead to scarcity and calamities. Calamities like floods and all. Near the granaries, brick platforms have been found. They might have been used for threshing the grains. So, what did you find? Near the granaries, brick platforms with holes in it. What a brick platform? A raised platform with a hole. It is believed that probably this brick platform was used for threshing grains. Threshing grains refers to removing the husk from the grain. Removing the husk from the grain is called as threshing grains. So, this brick platform could have been probably used for threshing grains. Many two-room shelters, or you can also call them as quarters, have also been found nearby, which could be the dwellings used by the laborers. So, people who work in the great granary, it is believed that they were quarters. What are quarters? Or shelters, two-room shelters or quarters were found where? In the great granary. Probably these shelters or quarters were used by the laborers to dwell there who were working in the great granary. All these granaries had been built close to the river bank so that grains could be easily transported by boats. Point to be noted. And above all, the most important, no doubt, it was built in the citadel area, but they were located close to the river banks so that it facilitated easy transporting of food grains, loading and unloading. Why? To export the food grains or carry on trade with other civilizations and all. So, it was found that this great granary was always situated near to the river bank for easy communication and transportation for loading and downloading of goods and grains. So, now let us move on to the second important feature is the great bath. From the name itself, you can get an idea or a picture that the great bath refers to, bath means somewhat like a bathtub or a swimming pool. Somewhat related like a bathtub or a swimming pool, right? So, the great bath. The great bath was one of the most impressive public buildings in Mohenjo-daro. See, this is the picture of a, can you see here on the screen? This is the picture of a great bath. This almost looked like a swimming pool, just like a swimming pool. Okay. It is believed that this great bath was also located in the citadel area by the ruling class people. It is believed that this great bath was probably used for taking holy dips or for taking religious baths and holy dips, right? So, it looked somewhat like a bathtub or a swim, not a bathtub, a more bigger version of that. it was somewhat like a swimming pool. This is how it looked. It represented somewhat, the features somewhat represent a swimming pool. It looked somewhat like a swimming pool. Can you see? Is it visible? The picture is also available in your textbook. If you turn over the pages, you can see the picture of a great bath. The Great Bath was one of the most impressive public buildings in Mohenjo-daro. It was a rectangular structure. You can see it is rectangular in shape, resembling a what? A swimming pool. It is somewhat like a swimming pool and rectangular in shape. It measures 12 meters length, 7 meters width and 2.5 meters depth. 7 meters length, 12 meters width and 2.5 meters depth. The Great Bath was perhaps used for what? Religious bathing. It had 6 entrances surrounded by galleries and dressing rooms made for changing clothes and taking rest. So what did it have? It had 6 entrances, the Great Bath. 1 entrance, 2nd entrance, 3rd entrance, 4th entrance, 5th entrance, 6th entrance. Probably 2 entrances in the length and 1 entrance towards the breadth, and it was surrounded by changing rooms or dressing rooms where people could change their clothes after the holy bath or where they could rest or relax. So it is a rectangular shape. The Great Bath, it represented a swimming pool. It had 6 entrances, 12 meters long, right? And 7 meters width and 2.5 meters depth. It had 6 entrances surrounded by galleries and what? Dressing rooms made for changing clothes and taking rest. Steps led to the bottom of the pool. You can see the steps here. Can you see? So, you can get into the bottom of the pool through these steps led to the bottom of the pool. Burnt bricks or baked bricks rather. Burnt bricks makes the brick hard, strong and dry. So, it was built with baked bricks or rather burnt bricks were used for the floor and walls of the pool. There was an outlet to drain the used water. So, you had a dip, you had a holy bath there. So, the used water was drained out through a sill. There was an outlet. So, the used water was drained out through an outlet. There was an outlet to drain the used water. Water for the bath was taken from an adjacent well. Adjacent well means nearby well. So, where did the water come from? Water in the Great Bath was provided from a nearby or an adjacent well, and this used water was drained out through an outlet. See how hygienic they were concerned. They used to take a holy dip, a holy bath, and the water was provided from a nearby well or an adjacent well, and the used water was let out through an outlet, right? And it was built with baked bricks. Next, moving on to the assembly hall. So, another important feature. So, what did we study? We studied about the great granary, we studied about the Great Bath, and the next important, the third one is the assembly hall. You can see assembly hall. See, so what? You can recall it or you can correlate it. When we have a general assembly in a school, what happens? We all gather together, right? In a school, when we have a general assembly, we all gather on the playground or in front of the stage. So, assembly hall refers to a gathering where people conducted important meetings or ritual prayers. Assembly hall refers to a big hall where all the people assembled. Assembly hall means a big hall where all the people assembled or gathered together for what? For what purpose? For carrying out some religious important talks, important meetings or some religious prayers. Assembly hall, a great pillar hall at Mohenjo-daro, was another impressive public building in the Citadel area. It was a huge structure of about how much? 70 meter long and over 23 meter wide. You need not remember all these children, you need not remember the length and width and all. This is not important. This is just for information's sake. It is given in your textbook. It was a multi-palisaded hall. The walls of the hall were very thick. It was most probably used for what? Meetings, collective prayers of religious significance. As I told you, it is a multi-pillared hall Assembly hall had thick walls, it had many pillars, probably it is used for a common gathering for conducting important meetings or religious prayers. It was a multi-pillared hall in which how many? 20 square brick pillars. The pillars were in square shape. What shape? The pillars were not round or circular. The pillars were square shaped. So how many were there? 20 square brick pillars were arranged in 4 rows of 5 each. This is a row, right? And each row consisted how many? 5. They had 20 square shaped pillars. Okay. They were arranged in 4 rows of 5 pillars in each row. 4 rows. This is a row and 5 pillars in each row. So shall we proceed? Now moving on to the drainage system. The drainage system of the Harappan cities was of the highest order. The bedrooms had sloping floors and had drains which were connected to the street drains. See, bedrooms had sloping floors and they had drains connected to what? To the street drains. The kitchen too had drains. The street drains were covered with what? Stone slabs or bricks and had manholes. Manholes are opening where you can get in and clean in case of a blockage or something. A manhole is an opening where you can get in and clean the drain or remove the blockage. So they were built with what? Bricks, okay, stone slabs or bricks and had manholes at regular intervals. These drains were cleaned regularly. The main drains emptied where? Outside the city. It shows that people of the Indus Valley were conscious of hygiene and sanitation. Drainage system. The drainage system of the Harappan cities was of the highest order. I'm sorry, this is a repetition. Let us ignore. This is a repetition. See, this is a image or a picture of the drainage system. See, they were made of bricks or stone slabs. This is made of stone slabs. And these drains, they emptied outside the city. See, this is how the drainage, this is just a picture of a drainage system. They were covered with stone slabs or bricks. They had regular manholes at regular intervals so that it can be opened and cleaned regularly at regular intervals in case of any blockage. And these drains emptied outside the city. That's all for today's class. Thanks for watching. If you like my video, please do like, share, subscribe. Okay, share, like and subscribe. So in today's class, we studied about the main features, that is town planning, that is citadel area, lower town, then drainage system, the great bath, the great granary and the assembly hall. Right? Stay home, stay safe, stay online. Bye-bye.